Chelsea's 04-05 season was defensively historic. The West London side conceded just 15 goals throughout the entire campaign as Jose Mourinho helped the club win a First League title in 50 years. But is it possible to return to Football Manager 2005 and break that very record? Let's find out. And we're back over 20 years ago. This is a highly talented Chelsea squad with some familiar names. The squad has plenty of depth and will be starting amongst the favourites. This was a formidable side, losing just once in 38 matches, conceding only 15 goals along the way. This season would also see them earn 25 clean sheets, a record which they still hold today. A core reason they managed such impressive performances was the form of a 23-year-old John Terry. Those defensive attributes are elite, as well as his mental and physicals. Likewise, with Petr Cech, having just joined from Rennes, we'll need him to hit the ground running. The only transfer which I'll be doing different to Chelsea is acquiring Wan from Leverkusen. In reality, the West Londoners bought Alex and loaned him to PSV, but instead I'll be keeping this Brazilian as our fourth choice central defender. I have also recalled two loans, Veron and Hernan Crespo. Both were back in Serie A, but they are legitimately amongst our best players, so it's kind of unbelievable they aren't here in the first place. Let's play through the season and see what happens. It was a slow start to the campaign. We opened up with a goalless draw at home to Fulham, followed by an away trip to St James's Park. We managed to keep Shearer out, but once again could only tie. The tricky fixtures kept coming. United were up next with a star-studded 11. With a prime Ruud van Nistelrooy starting up top, we'd require a perfect defensive performance. After a flawless opening 4 matches, our first goal conceded would come from the Dutchman. Carvalho gets dragged out of position, and an easy finish by his standards. Shortly after, Jens Jeremy would equalise, before once again United retake the lead. And that turned out to be that. A disappointing performance from the keeper cost us. With 5 games already played, the table was looking a little grim, but at the same time we'd only conceded 2 goals, having already played Newcastle and Manchester United away. Arsenal would be next, and the floodgates opened a little. Ljungberg would open the scoring at Highbury. So close to earning a point on the road, Henry scores a decisive third goal. Thankfully, our next few games would be winnable as we earned back-to-back victories, not conceding a goal in the process, before Liverpool visited Stamford Bridge. The opening goal of the game would arrive in the 72nd minute. Some nice build-up play on the left, before Duff finds Crespo in the middle. Petr Cech impressed, as that was the game's only goal. Coming towards the midway point of the season, we travelled to Main Road. Not quite enjoying the embarrassment of riches they have today, Man City would be starting with Robbie Fowler. Despite our total domination, it would be the Liverpool legend who scored the only goal in the 90th minute. And with that disappointment, we've reached the halfway stage. Thus far, we're sitting in 4th, having conceded 9 goals. However, we have played a lot of our trickiest opponents away from home, so the record could still be in reach. New Year's Day 2005 would see a trip to Carrow Road. At half-time, things were looking rosy as we led 1-0. Arjen Robben added a second as we looked to be cruising to victory. Mullern had other ideas though, and absolutely hammered it home from range before we eventually won 3-1. Having such little margin for error, we needed to aspire for perfection. Away at Old Trafford, Crespo gets himself on the end of the rebound, and his strike would be the only one of the game. A week later, and it was another clash with Arsenal. Chelsea would take all 3 points, but not before this deflected RVP finish. Kind of annoying to concede like that. With the season drawing to a close, the dismissal of Sami Hyypiä made our trip to Anfield a lot easier. We'd go on to earn another goalless draw. Our final big game of the season would be Tottenham away. Andy Reid finds space out on the left wing, before crossing to Michael Carrick in the middle. Carrick would be involved again as he wins the knockdown for his teammate, who powers it into the back of the net. Our trip to White Hart Lane would finish 2-0. And here are our full season stats. Overall, there were some great performers. Drogba, Makelele and John Terry stood out in particular. Of the guys I signed or recalled from loan, only Hernan Crespo really featured regularly, but his form was impressive. Player of the season for me though would have to be Damien Duff. Whilst he didn't contribute all that many goals, his creative qualities were exceptional. Without him, I think it's highly unlikely we'd have 3 goal scorers in the top 26 in the Premier League. But did we manage to break the record? Sadly not, but we came very close, conceding 19. As well as the 2 against Tottenham, we ended up letting in 6 goals in our final 6 matches, including another costly 2 against Birmingham City. In the end, we accumulated 16 less points and scored 12 less goals than Chelsea did in reality. Likewise, we just missed out on the clean sheet record too. Petter would be 1 short as he managed 24 in the Premier League. Chelsea's historic 2005 season truly established the club amongst the most competitive sides in European football. Now over 2 decades later, they'll be hoping to return one day to the highs that the first Mourinho era brought the club.